So the fixture drop has been announced. We have the Amy Community Series fixture list, which always is an exciting time. We've had some wonderful pre-seasons of the past, haven't we? Everyone remembers Carlton's Wizard Cup win. It's always great. The pre-season is our first chance, and probably like the butterfly from its cocoon, it starts to change into something else. And what I mean by that is we're at that stage of the AFL pre-season where he's burning down the track. He's looking good. It now goes into our next stage of AFL start of the season where we actually get a physical look at them. So I thought we'd look at the games, look at the little interesting stories that are going to come from it, and just my take and my raw reaction. So let's get into it. We start off Tuesday, February the 25th. Geelong Cats host Essendon at the GMHBA on a Tuesday night game, which I find is really interesting. We do love a Tuesday night game. This presents Essendon with a chance, Essendon fans, to have a look at some of their new signings. Most namely, Mr. Jack Martin and Bailey Smith, two guys that we do expect to play some part early doors, and it could be really exciting. Obviously, Geelong are one of them teams that are in the top echelon this year of what we're talking about, looking at potential flags. They're one of the teams that will be in the mix. Maybe an outside chance as well in this game of seeing some of the draftees as well. Draftees to watch for Geelong could be someone like Lennox Hoffman. Remember, he did have VFL experience for Sandringham last year. And also, Mr. Running Machine, Patrick Resco, could also get a debut in that game with the extended bench. Kate and Mutafai Forbes, we would expect to play in the VFL and not be seen, but that could be an interesting standpoint for this game. And definitely two players there, along with the two senior recruits they've got in, that we would be excited about seeing. Essendon, on the other hand, they're a team, again, that are really hard to pigeonhole where they will be. So expected to finish the bottom half, but there will be a lot of hype in this game because you will see two Rising Star eligible players in this game. Nate Caddy's still eligible for the Rising Star, and a lot will be expected on Nate in this season, in my opinion. Also, his mate Isaac Keiko. Essendon have already built a very excited forward line, and a forward line that I'm really excited to see what may happen. I wouldn't be surprised as well to see a bit of Gus Clark, Archer Day Wicks, who by reports has gone well, and maybe a bit of Cale Jarin in this game, but definitely you'll see Jackson Pryor. This could be a real game here to see not so much our Essendon a contender, our Geelong a contender, but one that will really show the narrative of how they've set up their teams. Up next, then, we go on the Wednesday evening, and we've got a doozy here at Icon Park. Their main rivals for both of these sides, Richmond face Collingwood. And obviously in this game, we're going to be really excited about seeing Richmond's young talent, which we expect a lot of them to really perform. You've all seen the Josh Smiley highlights from training. He looks really excited, particularly his ability to get away from the contest and his work in congestion. Sam Layla is definitely going to be that guy that we do expect to be seen, but I'd imagine he will be eased into action. You may not see him in this game. Taj Houghton, another guy that is injured, but I would expect to see Jonty Fall, Luke Traynor, Harry Armstrong, and maybe to a lesser extent, Tommy Sims get some kind of game time in this game so we can see where they are. Obviously, Richmond are going to be much changed, and we are expecting them to be the wooden spoon favourites. They are going to definitely showcase, though, some of their young talent here, and it's going to be very exciting to see the next generation of the Tigers go at it. Pies, on the other hand, big money recruit Dan Houston, and also delisted free agent Tim Membry should feature in this game. These are a side that are a real hard one to tell. People either got them in the finals or saying they're going to bomb. I think they will be finals, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Harry Perriman and Dan Houston change that dynamic at Collingwood. As for draftees, I wouldn't be surprised to see Will Hayes and Charlie West play early doors, and this game here I think will be a real exciting one just to have a look at. Both of the clubs have brought in very good young players in certain areas that I feel could be areas of need. Hawthorn, the pre-season premieres. The AFL is going crazy with the hype on Hawthorn. And Hawthorn host at Tasmania in Launceston, the Doggies on the Thursday Arvo, late Arvo, 5:20, in what should be a really interesting game, because these are two sides that I think are definitely around the 8. One of them in Hawthorn could be higher than that. The Dogs are definitely going to be one of them ones to look. I don't think we'll see any draftees for Hawthorn. I think Cody Anderson and Noah Mraz are definitely going to be slow burns. But what I am interested in seeing is Josh Battle and maybe Tom Barras, hopefully seeing him in this game, seeing how that backline suddenly really evolves. A lot of talk about where James Sicily is going to play in the long term. Is he going to be a forward? There's been rumours he's been training the forward. It could be a really exciting one. And the Doggies, on the other hand, are just as interesting. Obviously, that they've brought in Matt Kennedy as the interim replacement for Bailey Smith. This could be a really interesting little component here. I do expect us to see Cooper Hines, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Sam Davidson line up early doors. Lachyjack is definitely someone that I'm going to be watching, and so is Josh Doolan. But I do feel that Cooper Hines and Matty Kennedy could make a break in this game and really come in. I do want to look at the other Kennedy as well. I won't be surprised to see Luke Kennedy feature pretty early doors as well. But this game here will really give us a good showcase of what Beveridge is trying to evolve the Doggies into, but also can the Hawks back it up with all that pressure on them. Then we head over to Ipswich in Queensland. Brisbane host the Crows in what is going to be a really interesting game. Brisbane at the 8:10 kickoff here are a team that have lost a real key pillar in Joe Danaher in this off-season. But they did bring in Levi Ashcroft, and seeing Levi Ashcroft early doors could be exciting. Sam Day should start early doors as well, and we can see how that forward line looks as it starts to evolve from a post-Danaher era. Sam Marshall, I wouldn't be surprised to see get some game time as well. And also, can they back up? We know the hardest thing to do is go back-to-back. So this is going to be a really interesting one for mine. Adelaide Crows, they have a great story here, and they've had some great ins, in my opinion. Isaac Cumming coming in, Neil Bullen for that pressure, and James Peatling a bit more experience. That midfield and half-back line has really evolved already, but also the addition of a gentleman called Sid Draper. We're really excited to see how that dynamic will shift, and that will be a real subplot there, because last year I felt that midfield at times was very predictable. They brought some good outside run, but they've also brought in a very big point of difference in the middle in Sid Draper. 5:20 on Friday at the Manuka. Carlton travel to GWS. And Adam Kingsley's side have had quite, you would probably say, a quiet off-season. A couple of lefts, a couple of players have left, James Peatling and Isaac Cumming, and Nick Hines to Carlton. But they have gone heavy on the draft, and I really am intrigued to see how Ollie Hannaford and Harry Oliver start in this side. I do think that these two will get games very early doors, and I'm very intrigued about Harry Oliver, who was one of my picks in this draft. I am really excited about seeing what he could do. Jakey Stringer looks to reinvent his career, so it's our first chance to see him in the orange of GWS. But Carlton, on the other hand, this is a big season. They were very bold in their approach for pick 1, and they brought in some senior talent in Nick Hines, who's really going to really show that backline. I think he's a starter for the Blues, and I'm really intrigued of how the players can learn off him, because he is a master of his craft. The other one was the big target in Jagger Smith. A bit of a POD in the midfield, a guy that accumulates the ball and uses it so cleanly in the glitches. This is a really exciting one for me to see how that dynamic works in the midfield. A lot is talked about my Blues and their midfield, and I feel like they've added a little bit of je ne sais quoi here that opens up other players as well. I would be surprised to see Ben Camporelli get a little gig in this game as well and showcase his talent. I think Harry Farrell, Matt Duffy, and Lucas Camporelli and Harry Charlson will probably start their careers in VFL, but I wouldn't be surprised with the extended bench, the Blues give a bit of camper time. And I'm really excited about seeing what Ben can do in that. We head over to the People First Stadium in Gold Coast. Gold Coast host the Swans in what will be, I think, an expectation year for the Gold Coast, as it being Dimmer's second year. They've obviously gone hard. They brought in John Noble and Daniel Rioli, our first chance to see them in their new jersey. I'm still not sold on their logo, I have to say. But I am excited about seeing Leo Lombard, who will definitely be a round one shout, and how that makes up. Gold Coast this year have to shift and get going forward, and I'm excited to see how that looks. Sydney, after their disastrous grand final with a new coach, Dean Cox, they're going to be a really intriguing one for mine of what may happen. They brought in Ben Patterns, that only recognised real player, which I think is more of a depth one. They haven't really lost an awful lot either, but I am looking forward to seeing Ned Bowman. He's been given a very good squad number in 23, and I think you will see him start early doors. But also Riley Bice, who I think offers something, and Jesse Dottoli in that forward line could be really exciting. This is going to be a real excitement here because it's going to be the first time we see what Dean Cox has done to this side. And it might not tell us a lot about the season, but I think that this is a real tasty game and one that I have penciled in, that I'm definitely going to make sure that I watch this one with all detail that I can. Saturday afternoon, it kicks off at the RSEA Park in Melbourne. St Kilda host Port Adelaide. And St Kilda are a real tough team to be able to pick out where they finish. And it's going to be an interesting one. They have brought in Trevella and Tyroo. I'm really looking forward to Jack McRae. Liam Henry's had that injury and gone off for surgery, so who's going to replace him? I've got a sneaky feeling that just kind of helps out that McRae will play that wing midfield where he's been so good outside and inside, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Trevella get early game time and really lock down that role. I think his ball use, his elite running, and his evasion really helps in. And I'm looking forward to seeing that McRae, Tyroo, and Trevella. I think Tyroo will definitely get some games, but the one I do want everyone to look out for is, I think, Josh Battle 2.0 in James Barat. And I think he will start in this game, and he's one that I'm really intrigued to see how it goes. Port Adelaide obviously brought in Jack Lukosius, brought him back home, and I think he will definitely be a key conduit in whatever Port bring up. I do expect a shift in Port's game plan this year, and they've gone really hard with some real exciting talent, particularly Christian Miraz and Joe Berry, who I think will start from the outset and really offer something different, particularly Joe Berry, that excitement machine, and I could really see him going really well. We go to Bunbury at 6:10, Eagles versus North, in what I think is a very intriguing encounter. Jack Graham comes in to add a bit of experience. Matty Owies came in, and their draft class was absolutely phenomenal. And I do want to keep an eye out on Job Shanahan and Bo Allen, two guys that I think will get game time early and really will impress. Liam Baker walking off that halfback line really makes me excited. And I think West Coast are one of them teams that if they get it right early, they could get some cheap wins very early doors. North Melbourne, a tough fixture to analyse there, but they've gone really hard. And I am looking forward to seeing VFL graduate Finn O'Sullivan, who did show some things in the VFL to showcase that the step up won't be so hard. I think Luke Parker and Jacob Constanti are going to be really intriguing. Caleb Daniel adds that experience, and Jack Darling, that fighter's spirit. I'm really excited about North Melbourne. I'm looking forward to seeing how these new kids really fit in. I think you will see quite a lot of debutants in this game, and something that's going to be really exciting. And we end on the Sunday, 6:10 in Mandurah. Fremantle host Melbourne. And Fremantle, for me, are a team that have gone quietly about this. I am really intrigued to see how Shai Bolton fits into this Fremantle side. He's definitely one of them types of players that I think adds that excitement to what the Purple Army are building. Murphy Reid as well. I'm really intrigued. I think that is the draft steal. Our first look at him, and Fremantle are definitely going to be one of them teams that we're really looking hard towards. Melbourne, a lot has been talked about Melbourne, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what their young Harvey Langford does, and also the form of Petrarca, and can they get Clayton Oliver back to his best. We're definitely going to see them early doors, and Harry Sharp adds that running power as well. Melbourne are a real team that are definitely in that lower case of the 8 looking to jump on, and I'm really intrigued, That's the pre-season then. They're the little sub-narratives. What are you guys and girls looking forward to about the preseason? I can't wait to jump in with both feet. Hope everyone's doing well. Peace, love, and light. Palm out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella